Hello again, and welcome to day number 66. My name is Mary, and today I'll be reading to you a story called The Scarlet Cord. After the death of Moses, while the children of Israel were still camped on the east bank of the river Jordan, God spoke to Joshua, saying, "Now that Moses, my servant, is dead, you are to take his place and rule this people. Don't delay. Lead them across the river Jordan and conquer the land I have given to them." Then God told Joshua how much land the Israelites were to have if they showed themselves worthy of it. It was to reach from the great river Euphrates far in the north down to the border of Egypt on the south, and from the desert on the east to the great sea on the west. And God said to Joshua, "Be strong and of a good courage. I will be with you as I was with Moses. Read constantly the book of the law Moses gave you, and be careful to obey it. Do this, and you will have good success." Then Joshua gave orders to his officers. He said, "Go through the camp and tell the people to prepare food for a journey. In 3 days, we will pass over the Jordan and go into the land that Lord has promised us." This was very bold, for at that time of the year, the Jordan was much larger than other times. All its banks overflowed, and it was running as a broad, deep, swift river down to the Dead Sea, a few miles to the south. No one could possibly walk through it. Only a strong man could swim in its powerful current, and the Israelites had no boats. Across the river, the Israelites could see the high walls of the city of Jericho, standing at the foot of the mountains, before the rest of the land could be won. This city had to be taken, for it stood beside the road leading up to the mountain country. Joshua chose 2 careful, brave, and wise men and said to them, "Go across the river and get into the city of Jericho. Find out all you can about it and come back in 2 days." The 2 men swam across the river, walked to Jericho, and went into the city. But they had been seen, and the king of Jericho sent men to take them prisoners. They came to a house on the wall of the city where a woman named Rahab lived. She hid them. And I'll show you a picture of that. Here is Rahab hiding the 2 men under all the straws. But the man had been seen going into her house, and the king sent his officers after them. The woman hid the man on the roof of the house and covered them with stalks of flax, which are like long reeds. So the officers could not find them. After the officers had gone away, thinking the two spies had left the city, the woman came to the two men and said to them, "All of us in the city know that your God is mighty and terrible, and that he has given you this land. We have heard how your God dried up the Red Sea, led you through the desert, and gave you victory over your enemies. And now all the people in this city are in fear of you, for they know your God will give you the city and all this land." "Now," said Rahab, "promise me in the name of the Lord that you will spare me my life, the lives of my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, when you take this city." And the men said, "We will pledge our life for yours. No harm will come to you, for you saved our lives." This woman's house stood on the wall of the city. From one of its windows, Rahab let down a rope on which the men could slide down to the ground. It happened that this rope was a bright scarlet color. The two spies said to Rahab, "When our men come to take the city, hang this rope in the window. Bring your father, mother, and family into the house and keep them there while we are taking the city. We will tell all our men not to harm the people in the house where the scarlet cord hangs from the window." Then the two men slid down the rope, found their way to the river, swam over it again, and told their story to Joshua. They said, "Truly the Lord has given us all the land, for all the people in it fear us and will not dare oppose us." One fact was a great help to the Israelites in taking the land of Canaan. It was not held by one people or ruled over by one king who could unite all his people against the Israelites. There were many small nations living in the land, and each little tribe, was ruled by its own king. So it would be easy for the Israelites to destroy them one by one, as long as they kept apart and did not band together into one army. The Israelites were now a strong and united people, trained for war and willing to obey one leader. So all 12 tribes were ready to fight as one man. And that was the word of the Lord. Now I will share with you the discussion questions. Number 1. Who was to lead the Israelites over the Jordan River? Number 2. Was it easy to go across the river? Why or why not? That's the rest of number 2. Number 3. What did Joshua do? Number 4, how did the men get out of the city? Number 5, what did they promise the woman who helped them? And we come to another end of a story and discussion. Thank you again for listening and viewing. May the Lord bless us all. See you next time. Bye bye now.